right, so today, ladies and gents, we are going to be looking at the same essay question that we discussed the other day, which is not all of the characters in Like a House on Fire are capable of empathy. Do you agree? This is the plan that we came up with last session, and basically we broke it into three components that we said that we were going to do a paragraph on people who don't seem capable. And we had lots of characters that we said didn't seem capable. So like the mother in Whirlpool, Sharon in Sleepers, Shane in 72 Derwents, and Des. And then we had the didn't seem empathetic, that they didn't have empathy, but then they did. In the end, and so that was someone like Frank, where like initially we thought that he wasn't an empathetic person, but then by the end we realised that it wasn't that he lacked empathy, it was that we lacked an ability to understand him. And then the laminator, the narrator in Laminex and Mirrors was the other person that we were like, we thought that she wasn't capable, but actually she was. She just had to kind of like grow up a little bit. And then Chris in Ashes, where Chris kind of starts off very lacking in empathy, for his father, that he's angry at his dad and he's angry at his mum, but then by the end he kind of sees his own kind of fault in their lack of relationship and then tries to rebuild something with his mum. And then our last paragraph was going to explore the effect of having too much empathy. That there are these people who are like bleeding hearts in the story, that they're almost too empathetic and that's kind of to their detriment. And so we were going to say the girls in 72 Derwents, Cake, the narrator in Cake, that she's so empathetic that she can't kind of focus on her own work, that she's like, all she can think about is getting back to Daniel, her son. Anthony in Static, he's the one that's the Chris...
I think it was about the table.
I don't know if you can,
It's about the table.
Maybe. Yeah.
Do I answer it?
Yes.
But we have a recording.
Do it. You can cut it out. Cut it out, miss.
Hello, Miss Roberto. Did I hang up?
Yeah, you hung up.
Oh, well. And now it's on tape.
Mr. Roberto's going to find you.
Anyway.
Just go every single.
We got history. It's fine.
Did you go to birth grade?
Not in there.
No.
Oh no.
Hi, Mr. Roberto. Now, this is being recorded. Just keep that in mind. This is being recorded. Well, don't. If you fart, blame it on Ricardo, obviously. Like always.
So many unattractive students.
Yeah, there is. There's not many students, but
Where's
yeah.
the face of education?
I know. Where is Lachlan? Should I pause this?
Can you pause this? I just want to have a semi-quick word, please.
Yeah, hang on a minute. I think that's... Okay, so I think we're back. Let's just check. All right, so thank you, Mr. Roberto.
Thank you.
All right, so this is our... I think there's someone looking for you, Mr. Roberto.
And nobody got on my dress.
Sorry?
I think there's someone looking for you.
No.
How do I make myself less popular?
I don't know, man.
I think you're going to not be the VCA coordinator.
All right.
Everyone wants No, because that's what everyone wants to talk to.
It's true.
He's so popular with all the teachers.
So, let's do this. Come on. We're killing me. 20 minutes of my time. All right. So, this is what our plan basically is. Doesn't seem capable. Didn't seem capable, but then turned out okay, that they did have empathy. And then we're going to have the too much. Now, I did have a couple of people write in with this essay, and it did look really, really good. The one thing that we did kind of consider, though, I was talking to, who was it? I think it was Carney, where I was saying with this essay, it would be good to kind of have a bit of like overlay and have like, so she wrote paragraph 1, doesn't seem capable, and then she wrote paragraph 2 was her too much. She did too much. And I said maybe you could actually use, say, Des for doesn't seem capable, and then Michelle for has too much empathy, and actually talk about the juxtaposition of those two characters. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, like, you know, that Michelle seems all the more empathetic because of Des's lack of empathy. And, like, Shane in 72 Derwents juxtapose him with the girls and say Shane's lack of empathy coupled with the girls' youth and extreme sense of empathy, you know, has a particular impact. That would be a really interesting thing to talk about. All right, so we wrote an intro for that. So just so that you know, in Like a House on Fire, Kate Kennedy presents characters who do not seem to have the capability of empathising with others in their current situations. However, there are others that develop an ability to empathise through their circumstances. Finally, Kennedy presents a third group of characters that empathise too greatly with others, and this can be to their detriment. So they were going to be our 3 arguments. Happy?
Yep.
Cool. All right, so we're going to skip over that. Excellent. Let's write this sucker. Ha-ha. All right, so we already have the intro, so that makes our life a little bit easier. So let's steal that from there. I know. Let's steal the... Oh, it'd be good if I could use a computer. All right, copy. No, there. Okay, paste.
Well, that's a bit big.
It's a little big. It's a little big. It's a little big.
Oh, well, at least I'd actually reached the page limit. Like,
Make it Comic Sans.
Yeah,
Oh, no. Why?
Just do it.
Somebody once did it just
Why would
because
you
of
have
the teacher.
Helvetica?
It's
Yeah.
all about Helvetica.
No.
That's how I submit all my...
Century Gothic.
It's all about... Nah, it's...
Century
No, you just
You
use
used to
the...
submit all your sacks in Comic Sans.
I do.
Do you, like, hate humanity?
He does.
Yeah. Wow.
Some people
He just wants to see the world burn.
I
Yeah.
just want to watch the world burn.
Who knew?
Comic
Who knew
Sans.
that Jack Roach had such an evil streak in him that had too much? What do you want to start with?
It doesn't matter which way you put the too much empathy or thing, but do you think that you should have them at the start or the beginning and have the middle ones that they can develop?
I think so. I think
So,
that would be
Like,
nice.
so it goes like kind of...
So there's a progression.
yeah, the progression.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think that would be nice to kind of have the middle one to be the people who grow into empathy. Yeah. Okay, so what do we want to go, no or too much?
No.
No?
With the juxtaposition, where does that actually...
Well, you could do the you'll find that a lot of the stories have this juxtaposition. So,
yeah, I meant like with you using Des and then Michelle and then
Yeah.
with that.
well, I could do that. I would probably do that in the paragraph with too much empathy and say, you know, her empathy is kind of accentuated because of Des's lack of empathy. That we notice it even all the more because of his lack of it. Yep.
Could you, like, also, what sort of quotes are we looking... Like, how many quotes are you looking to have?
Oh, I love those questions.
No, because I mean... No,
How many quotes?
No, Miss, what I mean by that is... 'cause
8.
obviously, it's kind of...
2 for each.
Per character.
It's just, I mean, it's going to be pretty difficult because it means that we have to memorize
It is.
at least one quote, if not, like, not even at least.
But the thing is, you should be at the point with these texts where you're not memorizing quotes, that you just know this book. You just know it. You just know it. And, like, you're not necessarily writing out big slabs. You're just kind of going, oh, remember when she says that thing, or remember when that thing happens, and there's, like, a phrase. So, like, it'd be good if I held it the right way up, wouldn't it? Where, you know, she says something about the flexion, that they grasp hands. And I might just quote that, grasp hands.
You can paraphrase it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Not really.
Yeah. Yeah, that you shouldn't be kind of memorising quotes. You should just know this bad boy. Just know it. Do you hear that? Just know your texts. That was like a mic drop, but with a book. Okay, a book drop, if you will. All right, so let's write this topic sentence. Obviously, I don't want it to sound exactly the same as my my argument in my intro. So what could I say? So I'm going to use the do not seem capable of empathising in their current situations. How could I phrase? How could I write a topic sentence that says this is what I'm going to talk about in my first sentence, in my first paragraph? Yep.
Do not appear to have the ability to empathise with.
Or
Well,
being-
that's not a full sentence.
being capable of showing empathy towards others.
In Like a House on Fire, Kate Kennedy presents characters lacking.
Wait. Well, I've already kind of started like that in Like a House
Yeah.
on Fire. I feel like that's
Kate
lazy.
Kennedy's Like a House on Fire. That's always what I do. I just turn it around.
That's boring.
Yeah, I am boring though. I'm not very good at English.
That's not true.
Kennedy just.
Kennedy presents characters. I don't know why this is so much smaller, but okay.
That lack.
Characters that seem to lack, because like we're only seeing them at one moment in their lives. So like, can we really say that they are overall lacking in empathy? Probably not. We're just seeing them at a moment, yeah? That seem to lack a sense of empathy towards. Who are they lacking empathy towards? It's
The
like not
main
just.
characters.
It's not just towards others, it's towards like people who we assume that if you're going to have empathy for anyone, it would be them. Like, so like Des lacks empathy for his partner and his child. You know, Shane lacks empathy for
His
like
significant
for
others.
young, you know, for
For those
for little
closest
girls.
towards them.
Yeah, for those who are closest to them. Yeah.
Like Frank with
Yeah.
his wife and then miscarriage.
Towards,
And he's like, let's put this all behind.
Yeah, people who are closest to them. I want to just kind of go one bit further than that. Why do you think she presents these people?
Because it
Why-
kind of gives the tension needed to kind of explore, like relationships.
Okay. Yeah, and I guess like, why do they lack empathy in these moments?
Maybe they're too sad.
Selfish.
Selfish.
Des is selfish.
Like-
Shane is selfish.
Frank-
Also, but with Frank, yeah.
Who
with
else
Frank-
do we have?
Frankie, I think he was just, especially at the time when his wife miscarried, he was probably very sad, and he knew that the only way that he could deal with it without being like falling.
But we're saying he grows empathy.
Yeah,
But these people who don't seem capable are like the mother in Whirlpool.
selfish.
She's selfish. Sharon in Sleepers. She just is sick of him, and he's just like.
I feel like she just wants better.
She just wants better
herself.
for herself. Yeah.
So that people
Shane.
would focus on themselves.
Shane is selfish because he's, you know, being grosso predator, and then Des is immature and selfish. Okay, so it's selfishness, isn't it? Okay, so she does this in order to explore the reason behind it's not the reason behind selfish actions, it's like the ability to act in a selfish way is like a lack of empathy. Like you can act selfishly because you don't care about others. Yeah. To explore the ability of a person to act in a selfish way. Yeah? I don't love it, but it'll work. I can come back to it and tweak it if I want. But I think that's really interesting because it's going that one step further than just talking about the question. It's taking that question that little bit further and going, I see what she's doing. There is an authorial intent in there that she wants to explore. She wants to explore people who lack empathy because she wants to explore that idea of why are people selfish? Why do they do the things that they do? Or how do they do the things that they do? Because they lack a sense of empathy. Does that make sense? I think that's going to be a really interesting paragraph because not only am I going to explore the lack of empathy, I'm going to explore how the lack of empathy allows people to be selfish. Yep.
Can we please fix the text?
Sure. It's going to do your head in, is it?
Yeah, it's just like it's so much smaller. and so
Yeah.
much-
I don't know why it did that. Next one, is that, yeah, that's about the same size. Yeah, that's right. Now it just feels wrong, just cause. She does this in order to, sure, okay. Okay, so that's my topic sentence. Are we happy? I'm not wrapped, but it'll work. I'll come back to it. If you've got suggestions, I'd love to hear them. All right, and this is why you need to draft, because you get rusty. If you asked me to crack out a language analysis right now, I'd be bang on. But at the moment, I've not written a text response in a while, so I'm rusty. Okay, so who do we want to choose first to kind of go, they are selfish and thus they are not capable of empathy?
I reckon Shane. Yeah.
Shane.
It's like
Shane. I'm really glad we're not filming this because that is one of my uglier faces where I'm like, Shane. It's not one for the internets. All right.
You do the old-fashioned aim where you used to just record.
Oh, that's the worst. My friends make fun of it all the time.
They're probably going to make fun of you.
Oh, they make fun of. They actually watch these all the time and make fun of me. It's really great. Really good friends.
Quality.
Yeah,
That's the sort of friends
I have really beautiful
Sarah's definitely
friends.
gonna do that.
Thanks, guys. Get back to work. So she does this to explore the ability of a person to act in a selfish way. This what's the opposite of empathy? Like,
Apathy.
it's, well, no, because it's not apathy. They don't not care. It's like,
Disconnectedness.
yeah, it's like
Detachment.
detachment. Yeah, this selfish detachment from others is seen in its most, I guess, in its most like brutal form in Shane. In its most brutal form of Shane in the old 72 Derwents. Inverted commas, good. I was waiting for someone to say it.
Will we get marks off if we actually write the number 72?
Nah, you should probably write it out, shouldn't ya? Don't be lazy, mates. 72 Derwents. Alright, so where do we see Shane's complete lack of empathy?
Maybe when he injures the mother.
Yeah, where is that? Where is that? Where he injures the mum? Where he actually? Do you mean like right at the end, or?
Such a dark book.
Oh, such a dark story, isn't it? Oh, it just made like when I read it for the first time, it just made me feel sick the whole way through the story because I could see what was coming. It was like watching, like being strapped to a train track and just watching the train coming. I'm like, I know what's going to happen. You know, like, do you know what I mean though? Like, it's just like, I can see exactly what's going to happen. I don't need to see it. I know what's going to happen.
At page 275, there's one where she like says something.
Something where he's like really nasty to mum. That would work well.
Page 275. Because we're talking about-
75, yeah. Is it about the dolls?
I think so, yeah.
He says something really awful about the
It's,
dolls that he's
in the
like,
middle of-
nobody's going to buy these pieces of shit. Like, it's really awful. Where is it? Oh, yeah.
In the middle of 275,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Okay. So, when,
Oh, well, could you say she hates you, don't you, Ellie? When she's like, Shane's like trying to cause tension.
yeah,
It's one of the-
I like the you've got to be fucking joking because it's like,
He's saying it towards her effort.
yeah, that he's making fun of her, like, her little success. That she's had this little success and he's like, you got to be fucking joking. Like,
He's not aware of how
yeah.
important it is to her.
yeah. When mum sees a brief glimpse of success with the doll making enterprise. Shane is quick to deflate her by cruelly taunting you've got to be fucking joking, right? Oh no, sorry. Okay, what does this show us about Shane?
He doesn't at all care about her being like her dream for like betterment.
And he, why is he doing that? Why does he deflate her like that?
It makes him feel better.
Makes him power. Yeah, it's establishing power. Yeah, it's a real like.
Also, not really aware that it's really important to her. And thinks it's
I even think he is aware. I think the fact is he is aware, and he's like, don't care.
So he's taking her away from her.
Don't care. I want to re-establish my power with you.
Which leads back to itself.
Yeah. She's trying to kick him out of the house.
Yeah.
And yeah. Oh no, sorry, I've mistaken this bit. This bit isn't about the doll.
No.
This isn't about the doll. This is about him kicking her out. She's trying to kick him out. Hang on, where is it? I want to find the bit with the doll, because the doll, he does do it with the doll too. Sorry, my bad. Where is it? Where she's talking about the dolls, and she says, "Oh, people buy these for like $20 or something," and he's like, "You got to be joking. No one's gonna buy them." Blah blah. Where is it?
Oh, 254.
Oh, you're good at this book. Oh yeah, you've got to be fucking kidding me. There it is. Yeah. And that makes sense because I've underlined it and written emotional abuse.
And it's literally 2 words off.
And I'm literally 2 words off. Bugger. Alright. He's got a wide repertoire. You've got to be fucking kidding me. Yeah, so so it says he's in a mean mood, I can tell, even because he's smiling when even though he's smiling, his mouth is wrong. He picks up one of Mum's dolls out of the box and looks at it and says, "You've got to be fucking kidding me." "Mum pays $40 for these," says my mum without looking at him, and he laughs and says, "Geez, they saw you coming, didn't they?" She just keeps sewing the hair onto one of the dolls and says, "You wait." Okay, so that's on page 254 for those playing at home. So, what does this show? What could we say? Yep.
This is definitely about like, for the mother, it's about like trying to prove something, and for him, it's proving that she's like never gonna really account for anything.
Mum is striving to better herself. Mum is trying to better herself. And Shane, rather than seeing this as an opportunity to like encourage, which would be an empathetic response, to empathetically encourage, deliberately chooses the I can't use cruel again. The too much, too far. What he does later, depraved. Deliberately chooses the malicious
Yeah, malicious.
act of, did I say deflating? Yeah. Of
Belittling.
belittling her efforts.
You say it's to his level.
Well, to re-establish his power over her, yeah. This seems to be done by Shane to re-establish his power over her. All right. Power over her, which then links to my idea of, you know how I said, like, she does this to explore the ability of a person to act in a selfish way. So I'm exploring, that why is he acting in a non-empathetic way? Well, because he's selfish. Because he's selfish, he wants something, and he wants power over her. Yeah.
There's a motive.
Yeah, the motive is that he wants the power. Yeah.
So he can, do terrible things.
Yeah, to abuse her children. Yeah, that's what he's there for, really. Okay, so let's talk about that bit. Let's go. Moreover, you could even talk about, and actually I'm stealing this from Carney. Thank you, Carney. Carney talked about the Mars bar scene. And how he gives her the Mars bar, and we know as the reader, we know the reason he's giving her the Mars bar. He's giving her the Mars bar so that later, when he wants to ask a favour, she will feel like she doesn't have the ability to say no. You know, because he's done a favour for her and given her a treat, and so she will feel like she's obliged to do what he wants, right? He knows this. He's an adult. He knows how transactions work, right? And that would be a really good scene to kind of talk about how not only does he lack empathy, he understands her emotions and ignores them and exploits them, doesn't he? He understands Tyler's emotions. He understands how she's going to feel about the Mars bar and how she's going to feel later when he asks for a favour, and he's going to exploit that, which obviously shows a lack of empathy towards others.
And just
Not a lack of ability to show empathy, a choice to not be empathetic.
Yeah, and especially with the being selfish part, it's definitely he's doing it for his own selfish means. He's not doing it out of the kindness of his heart.
No.
He definitely wants something out of the exchange, which is.
And he knows that there are very few and far between treats for Tyler.
And that's,
That a Mars bar is a big treat for her.
and it's dramatic irony on their part because she doesn't know.
No, exactly. Yeah, there's that dramatic irony of she doesn't understand the gift and the motivation behind the gift, but we do. Yeah. All right. So, moreover, Shane gives.
I didn't get up.
What?
Hello.
If you want to...
Do you want me to pause this again?
No.
Okay.
If you want
Hi,
to...
Mr. Ovetto. You're being taped.
Oh, yeah, pause.
Right. Sorry. Okay. So, Shane gives Tyler a Mars bar early on in the story. This scene is delivered with dramatic irony as the reader understands that the implication of the gift will mean that Tyler will feel obliged, I guess, obliged to
Do him a favor.
yeah, to, I guess, obey, or like, yeah, obey requests from Shane that will be of a, like a yucky, of a sinister, I guess.
If you
We
write-
could say a sexual nature, but
Yeah,
it's,
like salaciously.
yeah.
I don't really want to write that.
Well, salacious has the
Absolutely.
kind of meaning that it's like from both ends.
Oh,
Like that
really,
it's,
does it?
yeah. It
No,
kind of,
he's
yeah.
like, whoop, misused that word.
No, I mean, like, it's words are complex. They have kind of
Connotation.
connotations of a, I guess,
Inappropriate.
inappropriate. Sexual would be fine, but I just of an.
Miss, you're an English teacher.
I know. Well, because I wasn't sure what word I was going to use. Of an inappropriate nature. Later.
You could say disturbing because it has that effect on me.
Disturbing. I like disturbing because that even like communicates how we feel about it.
Yes.
And this is why you write drafts, so that you can actually play with words a little bit more and kind of, because like next time I have to write an essay like this, all these phrases are already in my head, aren't they? They're just kind of swimming around, and then I pull them back out. That's why we write lots of drafts, so that we have
This
this
is a
kind of,
shameless plug for like the fact that you haven't got any drafts.
yes, hurry up and write my drafts. Although I have got one from you.
Yeah. It's a
I've got
very
two.
long one.
Oh, okay.
So
I haven't had a
sorry.
look. Oh, I'll tell you what, Carney's was really long. Carney's was huge. I think it was
2,000 words.
it was huge. It was a big one. But it was good. There was anyway.
She enjoyed reading it, so it wasn't that bad.
Yes.
She could read.
Ooh, that was an pause.
Well, it's fine.
It's draft.
It does, yeah.
Okay. Shay gives Tyler a Mars bell early on in the story. This scene is delivered with dramatic irony as the reader understands that the implication of the gift will mean that Tyler will feel obliged to obey requests from Shane that will be of a disturbing nature later. Okay. Shane's actions, now I'm explaining. Shane's actions in this moment show that he is aware of Tyler's feelings, but chooses to manipulate them and use them to his own devious and selfish, tying into my idea, benefits. This illustrates a true lack of empathy, tying it back to the contention. So see how I'm kind of like using those key words and just bringing them back so that you kind of are tying back to the contention? How are you needing to squint when that is so big?
I don't know.
Oh
I
my
don't know.
God.
I'm kind of like looking.
Where are your glasses?
I can't see them either.
Oh dear God.
I think you need to go back.
I think you need to go to the optometrist. I think it's time. It's time.
I'm kind of dry.
I love that adverts though. Especially the marriage one where he looks at the wife and then he finally sees her and runs away. That would
It's
be
beautiful.
me. I
It's
just
beautiful.
put on my glasses and like, I'm out.
Whoa, whoa.
No, it's
Okay, so that's really important in your explanations that you are kind of tying back to the ideas. Okay? Now, these explanations, they're not bad, remembering that obviously you only have an hour to write this sack. So you're not going to be able to do the same amount of depth that I would expect in some of your sacks. You know, in your sacks, I expect huge amounts of depth. We do what we can. I would say in the exam, you may only just get to talk about 72 Derwents.
Yeah.
Okay? But we have given two very good pieces of evidence about it in there. So I think that's okay. But because we've got the time, we can go further than that. So who else do you want to use? Do you want to use Des or do you want to use Mum in Whirlpool?
Mum in Whirlpool.
Thoughts? We can do a different paragraph. We can move on.
Move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah? Okay. ... Fish. I went to write finish and I just wrote fish. Finish
That's weird.
this para later. Ada.
leave it.
I'm a great typist, aren't I? All right. I told you I learned saxophone instead of learning how to type.
I can't believe that was
Paragraph 2. Our next paragraph was going to be about people who didn't seem like they had empathy, but then either they grew it or we grew to understand it. Okay. So why do you think she gives us these characters that either grow a sense of empathy or we grow to recognise it? Sarah?
It's like giving them dimension to their characters, and it's showing that some people may have like different perspectives on one person or
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah, and that not everybody kind of experiences the world of
And
Is-
emasculation, like
Yeah.
stuff like that.
yeah, that everybody's world is different,
Yeah.
and like that we all express
Nobody's one
Different.
dimension.
yeah.
I think it's also to show that those people that are in the don't seem capable could show.
Could.
Except Shane. If they were in the right situation.
But even then, I feel like
Yeah, even
his
then.
action with
He's a druggie, he doesn't have a job.
Yeah.
So there's lots to
and even at the end when he gets
there has
stabbed,
to be a reason behind
you know when he gets stabbed, he just sits there and cries
it. Like a little bit.
like a baby.
On record. Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Phone number.
Where is it?
Your finger.
Yeah, Shane looks amazed. He sits on the floor with his head down and his stomach crying.
Yeah, I think he's like the only truly sociopathic. Like,
Yeah, but I don't even know that he is sociopathic. I think he's just like,
messed up.
Yeah.
yeah, he's just not
He
very.
has not had the
Yeah,
best
he's a.
history.
But also he's just like he's a predator, and you know like that's not a great thing.
And it said that he had
But I meant more like-
history with other sisters.
He did,
So if
yeah.
you're gonna do something once, then you're gonna do it again.
That's true.
Yeah.
So like that's the thing. But Mother in Whirlpool, she's selfish, but I don't think she doesn't hate her children.
No,
she
she
loves
doesn't.
them.
She loves them.
just wants to kind of prove to the world outside
That
of their
she's
own
perfect.
is
That their
she-
world is perfect.
Yeah,
To
that she.
realize that she's putting that more
Damage on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that the didn't seem like they could, but ended up like showing that they could is like really a well. This is what could happen with those people who just don't seem capable of empathy if they were put
In the right
position.
situation.
Yeah,
If we saw them in the right situation. Yeah. All right.
To attempt something of that nature, but you have to be truly unfeeling.
Yeah. Well, you would just have to be more interested in your own needs than somebody else's.
Yeah, like that's like sort of like not understanding.
Yeah. It's choosing to lack empathy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's choosing to lack empathy and go, I see that this might hurt somebody, but I don't care because this is what I need. This is what I want. Which is kind of gross in itself. Okay, so we're saying that that Kate Kennedy shows us people who we initially think lack empathy, but then we come to the realization that they do, to show us that, you know, like people or like I guess all people have the capability for empathy, perhaps.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that people that even people who we think don't have the capability actually do. Maybe.
Empathy can come from the most unlikely sources and places.
Good. All right. So, there are also characters in like a house on fire that initially seem to lack a sense of empathy, but either develop but however they find the means to be empathetic by the conclusion of their story. This character arc is presented by Kennedy to explore the idea that empathy can often come from the most unlikeliest of places. Cool. All right, I like that. Because again, we're taking the concept of the question that little bit further, aren't we? We're going, yes, there are people who seem like they lack empathy, but that then actually they do. And the reason she does that is, and they love, examiners froth over the idea of you understanding the reasons why they do things, exploring why Kate is doing the things that she does. Because book, yeah. But she does. They really do like that you kind of think about, okay, well, why? Why is she doing that? You know, why does she want to explore that idea? You know, she is exploring that idea, but why? What's the answer that she comes to? Bye, Deepa.
Bye.
I seriously love your hair.
I know.
Top notch. It looks so good.
That's all I do.
Totally suits her. It looks amazing.
Changes every day though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
But I like that. Anyway,
Yeah,
we'll stop talking about her
continuity.
hair on the internet. Okay.
You'll just make them jealous.
So-
and you can never have.
I know. Tell me about it. All right. So, who do we want to discuss? Do we want to do Chris? Do we want to do Frank? Do we want to do narrator? Chris, Frank, narrator. Chris, because I feel like Frank, everybody knows what they would write.
Frank is a
I
character.
feel like everyone knows what they would write if it was Frank. Pardon?
Oh my god.
Pardon?
Really?
Chris is from Ashes. He's the one that gets rid of his dad's ashes. Yeah.
Now we got.
The character of Chris at the start of Ashes seems to be more concerned with his own burdens than the loss of his father, and the grief of his mother. Do you think that's a fair statement?
Yeah.
Because he does. He seems to be more wrapped up in his own burdens and how, like, he has to carry all of this than, like, the fact that his dad has lost his life,
yeah.
and his mum has lost her soulmate, her partner. So where can I prove that? Where can I prove that he's a heartless moron?
26.
20. This girl knows this text like the back of her hand. She's good. She's good. She's good.
It's so I did in summer holiday. I don't have a life.
What do you want to use?
So don't
Seth?
tell me it's going to be
Yeah.
down. Don't you dare address this now when
So-
it's all too late.
Good one. So this is like Chris's dad is dying, and his dad and he's like, and his dad's trying to like say, look, you know, let's talk about
The elephant.
the elephant in the room, and he's like, don't you dare, you know, who do you think you are addressing this now? When it's like, you know, his dad's dying. If he needs to talk about something, let him talk about it. Okay, so this is most obvious in his memory of his father's last moments, where when confronted with a conversation about his sexuality, Chris thinks, and the quote is, "Don't you dare address this now. Don't you dare address this now." When it's all too late. Alright, what does this show? Like, it shows that Chris is more...
It's like
He doesn't
Yeah,
even address the
self-centered.
fact that his father just died just after telling him this. He's like, no, how dare you
Yeah.
think that you have the right to talk
Yeah.
to me about something?
The memory is not... Yeah, the memory is not like the sadness that they never connected about it. It's like the anger that, like, you know...
not only that, but he was unable to pick out that his dad was thinking about
His
wife,
mum. Yeah.
and it was all for her. And when
It wasn't about him.
And he's able to gain that empathy and like suck it up for his mother, which
Yeah.
he wasn't able to then.
In this moment, in this memory, Chris is unable to see that his father's...
Or can you say like he takes like particular focus to his own?
Yeah, and his focus is only on his own.
Yeah,
Yeah,
his own
Yeah.
adversities.
yeah,
As a ironically,
yeah.
quite the scale of his father's and mother's
Pain.
time.
Yeah. He's unable to see that his father's motives are all focused on his wife.
Did you also juxtapose him to the son and like their levels of empathy?
Yeah, definitely. Chris, in this memory, Chris is unable to see that his father's motives are all focused on his wife, which juxtaposes with Chris, whose focus is all about, yeah, or
Not even his
whose-
partner. Like, if you think about it, his partner actually wants to tell him. There's that one scene where he's like, "Are you going to tell him?" And he's like, "No, I can't. I don't want to. And it's not about, I don't think, I think it will hurt you. It's no, I don't want to have the conversation.
Definitely. All right, so in this memory, Chris is unable to see that his father's motives are all focused on his wife, which juxtaposes with Chris, whose thoughts are all upon his own suffering. Good. This behaviour highlights Chris's lack of empathy towards both his father and his mother. Yeah. Alright, so then I need to prove that actually he grows from it. Because I can't leave it there. A lot of people kind of like, they forget what the whole point of what they were trying to argue is, and they kind of go, good, okay, I'll move on to the next one. It's like, no, because you haven't proved your point yet. You haven't proved that actually he grows. Okay. However, towards the end of the story, yes, Laura.
Oh, wait,
You could talk about the partner.
I was going to go to the very end.
Yeah, when he brushes
Yeah,
off.
in a
the-
minute.
Yeah,
wait,
we're
in a minute, not just yet.
It's like symbolism, which is a text construct.
What was it?
That's 33.
Here, he says to his mother, surprising him. In a minute, he thinks, not just yet. So it's about like him giving his his mother some more time.
giving
with,
her time.
with
Yeah.
her father's ashes.
Yeah.
It's like just in a minute, not just yet. Like
Yeah.
stalling so that she can have like a little bit longer with what's left. And there was one more that I was thinking. Oh, the very end. He sees a small smear of ash on the lapel of her jacket and lapel, sorry, no. Absently, tenderly, without interrupting her, he brushes it off.
Yeah, and you could use that as a text construct.
Mm-hmm.
It's also, the symbolism she was talking about. She always likes to end her text
With some
an
sort of
action.
symbol,
And
yeah.
you can quote off her saying that.
Yeah, definitely. As shown by is absently, tenderly brushing off.
You wouldn't put that in the double quote.
Oh yeah, I would, sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah.
My bad. It doesn't really matter double quotes or single
Yeah,
quotes,
it's
just
just
stay
distinct.
constant. Yeah, just don't muck between. Brushes off. Off. A small smear of ash on the lapel of her jacket. Now, obviously, these quotes are much more impressive than what you will probably have in your actual in your actual exam. That you might kind of go, oh, I just know it's like a small smear of ash. Put quotes around it, done. That's enough. Or like, you probably wouldn't remember absently, tenderly, but you might remember tenderly. Fine. Pop it in. Okay. This empathetic gesture, again tying back to the empathetic gesture, creates a juxtaposition. Now that we're talking about juxtaposition so much, between the old Chris and the Chris at the end of the story. the old Chris was not able to see the pain of others and respond with empathy. However,
Really a juxtaposition.
well, yeah,
Does it
because
happen, like, directly after?
yeah, but I feel like when you look at the start and you look at the end, it is kind of this juxtaposition of person that you
Oh, yeah, this sense of structure.
yeah, that we kind of go, oh, look at how far, there's been this huge character development.
And they never really said when he died, so
Yeah.
It was recently. They saw the
Yeah,
house.
it seems to be. Oh no, it says it's 1 year.
exactly.
They do it 1 year from his death.
Really?
Yeah, because it actually says that they came here on the anniversary.
Oh.
They're there on the anniversary, so it's a year since he's died. Yeah, yeah, which is pretty traditional, like that you would spread the ashes after a year. It's just one of those things.
Okay.
It's like thing. Oh gosh, it's 4:45. Holy moly! All right. However, the Chris at the end has the capability to respond. Oh no, I've already said respond to.
Reciprocate for
You're
same
reciprocating.
empathy
It's not reciprocate because it's like
that
that's a
his
back and forth.
father showed- no.
I guess just even to give the same
Yeah.
kind of empathy that his father.
I'd say reciprocate because it's like
Once.
something to show to her.
Yeah, but reciprocate is back and forward between the same two.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Once showed her. Cool. I wanted to work in something about like that this was an unlikely scenario. However, do you know what I mean? Like, I want to fit in something about unlikely.
As in,
That the original Chris was unlikely to do this.
Which one's father show? Which would have been unlikely for Chris's character at the beginning.
Yeah. Hang on.
The capability once thought to be out of character. Or
Yeah.
it was uncharacteristic of him to do so.
So do I go? However, the Chris at the end has the capability to give the same kind of empathy that his father once showed his mother. A feat unlikely from a feat unlikely
From
story's outset.
Chris's
from the old Chris. Yeah? Do you know what I mean? Like the old Chris would, yeah. Cool. I like this a lot.
Can I just take a picture of the last bit? Because
I'm literally going to send you it.
Oh,
You can take a photo of it as well,
if
if you want. I'll just stop this now, though.
Oh, okay.
All right, bye. You're welcome.